to develop. This particular feature is costing us $25,000 to develop. This one over here is $250,000 to develop, etc. So now you build this whole list out and you bring this back to the customer and you say to the customer, all right, work with me here. How can we pare down the feature list so that we can match your $1.5 million budget? Or maybe what we need to do is roll this out in a couple of phases, where phase 1 we're going to do this year for $1.5 million, and phase 2 will be done next year or in some future year for the other $1 million. Well, I mean, that's a point of negotiation. You're figuring out what his constraints are and how to customize your offering to fit his constraints. But maybe what he's going to do here is go, well, hey, I had no idea that thing cost $250,000. We don't actually need that feature. We can do without it. And maybe he comes down here and he's going to X out a few more features. And you've basically given him a shopping list. And he says, okay, well, look, if we remove these features and I can remove these items that you've given out here on how much each of these costs, we can push this down to $1.5 million. Or maybe at this point the customer says, we can push it down to $1.8 million. And I think, now that I understand the process and what we're up against, that I could probably go find another $300,000 and let's do this deal for $1.8 million. Now, what's interesting here is the customer has taken ownership of the idea of reducing what he originally said he wanted down to some lesser list of features, requirements, specifications, meaning that when he gets less than what he originally asked for, he's actually going to be happier. Why? It's his baby now. He's the one that helped design the solution. He understands better what's going into the solution. So when he gets that solution, he's going, yeah, this is what I negotiated for. This is what I worked hard to get. This is what I agreed up front I needed, so that when you come to him, this is much better than coming to him late with less than a complete feature list and being over budget and going, this is the best we can do. Okay, why not come to him on time with a lot less feature list that he's not only has pre-approved, he has worked with you to design, he understands that particular solution, and he's going, yeah, I'm happy with that. I think you guys have done a great job. So what we see here, then, if we go back to this original table, is by teaching IT managers skills of negotiation, number one, they're going to end up with more projects. And the projects are affordable, and we can still be profitable. Now, this was when they're a profit center, okay? But the analogies are there for IT organizations that are organic to the corporation. And number two, over here, under improved customer satisfaction, you're going to have happier customers because you have led them to a position of ownership of the final solution, the finished product, what you actually end up delivering. And so on and so forth. We could move down through this list of all of these courses, and we've been through, 5 of them so far. We could go through the other 8. And when we look item by item, and again, that's what your homework is all about, is basically to fill out the rest of that chart that I started there, you'll understand that each one of these has potentially significant impact improving how effectively your IT organization works in terms of increasing budget and improving customer satisfaction with your internal corporate customers. That's a goal that I believe every IT department is trying to achieve. Let's move now to continue the slides where we left off in the previous first part of this lecture. One of the things that we said was at the heart of ITCO's business model was hiring a CFO for ITCO. What did this CFO do? The CFO designed and oversaw the implementation of an IT product platform. What does that mean? Basically, the CFO divided everything that ITCO delivered into 200 separate IT products and assigned 40 different ITCO project managers over those products. Remember, ITCO's population is about 2,700 people. Okay, so let's take a look, if we will, at what was behind this new chargeback system. This new chargeback system had two kinds of products in it. Core products and transfer products. Core products were such things as phones and PCs, and they were billed by the number being used. Transfer products were infrastructure things. Let's talk a little bit about each of those and how they were charged back. And let's take us back to the original problem. Okay, the original problem that we had USAA over here with each of its different business divisions. We have ITCO over here as now a spin-off IT services provider. And the problem was, which was only exacerbated by the original chargeback model, the problem was that these business divisions over here ordered IT services without restraint. Everything they could think of, they said, yeah, give us one of those, give us one of those, give us one of those. And these guys responded to everything that was asked of them, and consequently, demand continued to increase, and consequently, the cost of IT continued to escalate without restraint. I mean, such that it was moving faster than revenues. And when they originally spun ITCO off into its own company, that didn't change. Why? Well, if you remember, the chargeback model was that whatever percentage of income each of these divisions had, whatever percentage of revenue they generated was the percentage of the IT budget. So for instance, let's say this is the auto insurance division. If the auto insurance division was responsible for 15% of the revenue this year, then they just paid 15% of the total IT bill. And if this division, let's say this was the banking division, let's say they generated 10% of the annual revenue, then they're going to pay 10% of the total IT bill each year. All right, well, with a chargeback model that looks like this, I mean, first of all, this is close to communism, but at any rate, with a chargeback model that looks like this, each of the divisions is not motivated to be prudent consumers of IT, but they're motivated to order every single thing they can because their bill isn't going to go up. I mean, their bill is going to be shared by all the rest of these divisions. So why shouldn't they ask for the moon? Okay? ITCO is not motivated to become a more efficient provider of IT services because ITCO is just kind of going, bring it on, ask for more stuff. We love this. You know, let's see how expensive we can get because their bill is going to get paid no matter what it is. And that really was the heart of the problem, both when they were organic, as an organic IT operation, and then when they were spun off, it actually became worse initially. All right, so what the CFO of ITCO did is he said, okay, we're not going to do business that way. From now on, what happens is every PC that you want put in over here, we're going to charge you whatever their annual fee was. Let's say it's $2,000 a year. Okay, $2,000 a year for a PC for the year. Well, all of a sudden, what's this guy over here doing? He's going, well, wait a minute. Right now, we have 10